come on now.
Welcome. Here we are.
Mesko and Panthers podcast. The Cats have dropped 5 in a row, but
Let's
we are
talk
here.
about it.
You count on us to be here every week, and we most of the time are. I'm Taylor Craig, and our wonderful director, Daniel Mesko, is here as well.
Good
Dan,
to be
how
here,
you doing,
Taylor.
man?
Good to be here with you. Except I wish I had better news.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any Panthers fans are quite thrilled right now. This is a skid that was it almost is worse than what it was last year, and I just don't know if I have the full faith and trust in the Panthers organization at this moment. But and I think that's kind of a little bit widespread.
Yeah.
Do you think Panthers fans at the moment you see it on X, you see it other places on social media? Do you think the Panthers fans are panicking a little bit too much, or is this reasonable?
I mean, I think, Panthers fans hockey fans in general will always panic when one bad thing happens. I mean, we'll have a great game. We'll have 5 games in a row and then we'll lose one. It'll be like, what were they thinking?
Right.
Have these guys ever played hockey before? But I mean, it's kind of fair. The argument really is that we're injured. I mean, and then we kind of deliberately threw the last game with all the healthy scratches.
Charlotte
Sam
Checkers
Reinhart,
going up
Bennett.
against
Yeah,
Detroit
basically.
there. Yeah.
So, yes, that's an excuse to some degree, but it is kind of alarming, the lack of push. Like, sometimes we were really good. In the last game, we came out in the first period and we looked really good. But then trailing late, I was like, I would watch players not chase pucks in the forecheck when possession, we could have got possession back. And I don't know if that's like, we've got young guys behind us. Let's play conservative. Let's not cross forecheck too aggressively. But I was watching Lundell a lot, and it's just like he wasn't himself. He wasn't pushing any pucks forward. He wasn't pushing the play into the offensive zone. He was willing to lose board battles. Everybody lost board battles. It was like if you couldn't get set up for one try, then you lost the board battle. If you did get the one try, no one was close enough in the slot, and we didn't really fight for the puck.
It's uninspired hockey.
Yeah,
it's uninspired hockey. I mean, honestly, because it appears that the title for Atlantic Division is out of reach. That sort of does make sense because we're going up against teams that actually did have a lot to play for: Montreal, Ottawa, Detroit.
Detroit.
I always get shit for that.
Yeah.
What do I say? I say Detroit.
Yeah. You add like a syllable to
instead of Detroit?
Yeah, exactly.
Detroit. I also get shit for saying every because I don't know. My dad's from Toronto, so I don't know if that maybe is.
I say every instead of every.
Every. People say every.
Nah, dude.
Yeah.
Waste of time.
I know, right? What are we doing?
Keep it moving.
So you're very consistently against any extra syllables that are unnecessary.
Yeah.
That's the through line.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's one of my biggest
I know you love that.
fucking pet peeves. People pronounce the T in exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly. All right. It's like CKLY.
How can you say exactly in exactly?
Right. This mic is clinging on for life right now. Every exactly that gets thrown in there, it's just like clinging on.
The fans can hear it very well.
Yeah,
because these are good microphones.
Yeah, I bet. This pop screen is barely doing it. But yeah. So anyway, we're live here in Brooklyn. At any point, drop your
home
question.
Of the Panthers.
Home of the Panthers. Seeming that way. But yeah, at any point, if you have any thoughts, are the Panthers playoff ready? Are you concerned heading in? There's obviously the Bizanet was peddling the theory that the Panthers are intentionally dropping games because they want to line up with Toronto and give away go to the wild card spot, give that third spot to Ottawa. Ottawa would line up against Tampa, Panthers, the Leafs. I don't think that's true at all. What I think is true is that we've had 2 back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals runs, and we are, now that the Atlantic Division title is out of reach, we are resting these guys. One guy who looks like he needs a lot of rest is Verhaeghe lately. I don't know what's going on, but this man looks snake-bitten. And I just saw a look in his eye the other day. He looked like one of those miners that they pull up out of a cave after like 21 days. He just like... it really shouldn't be Anyway, he looked just like shell shocked.
Yeah.
Right? He was just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do.
Yeah,
like, I don't know
yeah.
what else I could possibly do.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
lost his groove for sure.
Yeah. So I'm not even calling him Swaggy anymore. He's lost his groove so much. I'm calling him Carter Verhaeghe. That's his God-given name.
Yeah. No, he's I don't know what it is. Well, first of all, I think when Biz said those comments, we should qualify that he put on a tinfoil hat and channeled God. So I'm not so sure that that's a good faith opinion. But Carter Verhaeghe does look snake bitten, and whenever he has a chance, he goes wide. He goes right into the chest. Puck doesn't come to him. It's pretty rough to watch. It's not the Verhaeghe that wins us series as Mr. Clutch, of the past.
I mean, he has been huge. Gabe is also talking about what we're talking about here with Verhaeghe. His new deal doesn't kick in till July 1st. Do you move him due to cap constraints, regression? I mean, I think it's moving a little too quickly. This is selling at a low point, right? This is like not what you're supposed to do. When somebody is going down like that, you intend to trade them, you put them on a line with Barkov or somebody else that's incredible and hope that they pot a couple goals and then you try to move it. But also, like a GM like Zito, it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously he's somebody who's not afraid to make a big move, but like it's human nature to not admit such a terrible mistake. By trading the Verhaeghe contract immediately after giving it, he would be admitting to making a very big error with that signing.
Yeah, I don't think he'll do that. I think Carter will, I don't know. He'll be remotivated, maybe deliberately by coaching staff and teammates in an effort to rejuvenate him. I mean,
maybe it's a playoffs thing. Maybe it's just like once the game becomes a little more physical and like you have physical line mates and they sort of like take a bit of attention away from you, but I don't know. It's kind of a hard argument to make.
Yeah. I mean, some of the plays he makes, like he tries to put things together. He's not very creative. He tries familiar things, but there's been a lot of bad puck luck in general. I feel like he's been for the whole team, he's been putting in a lot of plays and it just comes off the stick and things like this. But there's a sharpness that needs to come back, like
a finishing skill too.
We're doing all the predictable things. When I watch us try to retain a puck in the offensive zone, like we get cut off. They know what you're doing. There's hardly any deking and swerving back and forth and being unpredictable. There's a lot of cycles that they see coming from a mile away because F1's putting pressure at the point, so the puck's coming around, so then one of the D-men comes in and cuts it off. And like we lose board battles a lot. We're content to lose board battles. There's a feeling like that I think maybe everyone, including Verhaeghe, is somewhat victim of right now.
Which is like, I think a reason to be justifiably a little bit rattled heading into the playoffs. Like you're losing the most valuable asset on the team, which is confidence.
Yeah.
By dropping all these games. And any guy that's on the ice out there, like no one's trying to lose who's playing. They are trying to win these games and they do leave the ice disappointed if they lose them. So the human element of that is just, that can become cancerous in the locker room. The idea that, oh my God, we just got like bounced by Montreal. Like that's not a good look and it's not a good feeling. And when it comes to Verhaeghe, this is a guy that his shooting percentage was 12%, like on average over the course of his career. And now we're looking around, 6-7% this year. So he's just not potting them. And so that's really, it's really a rough look for him right now. Obviously, we've seen over several years how he's put it together, and I'm optimistic that eventually he will bounce back in a way. But man, it's been a bit of a rough go here. We got another comment from Gabe, and Gabe, keep dropping these comments, man, because we're gonna keep going with you. We got Mackey is the future 40 goal scorer to go on the Barkov line. Verhaeghe staying almost certainly means Bennett goes. I think you're probably onto something about cap compliance as it relates to Bennett and just sort of a decision having to be made about Verhaeghe and Bennett, or somebody else has got to eat it. But yeah, I mean, as far as Mackey is concerned, he's been given a lot of Dan loves Mackey. Loves Mackey, but he's been given a lot of faith. And he has just shown up every day. Fun fact, me and Dan went to the Islanders game this year where he got his first goal, and we met Samoskiewicz's family. They're from Connecticut, and they came down for the game, and so we chatted them up in the parking lot pregame. Yeah, wait, you weren't there, were you?
I don't think so.
Did you just miss the tailgate, or were you just not at the game?
For what? For an Islanders game?
The Islanders game.
I might not have gone to one. I think I was in Florida, maybe.
Fuck. Yeah, you were.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I wish I had been there.
We literally, like I flirted with his sister. I'm just kidding. No, there was no sisters, and my girlfriend was there, so that was not nice. I
don't know why that one applies.
Yeah, no, Samoskiewicz is
He's
this guy.
a stud.
He's a stud. He's an absolute stud, and he brings it every night. I think
the
playoffs are going to be freaking awesome for him.
Yeah.
The pace, because he plays at such a fast pace, and everyone knows that that's the pace that the NHL picks up to in the playoffs. So I think it's going to be just a great environment for him, and I'm excited to see his development as a player. I don't know about, would you already put Mackey on the top line next year, like slot him in already there? I mean, the question is, if you're willing to do that next year, why aren't you willing to do that in the playoffs this year? We got a lot of talent.
I mean, yeah, I guess it depends who our lines are next year. Like, I still can't picture him on a first line, but I could see him absolutely being on a second line. Mm-hmm. He does put in that energy all the time. He's got a wicked shot. When he's curling in from the hash marks, I'm like, oh, this has a high chance of going in, and he's not afraid to shoot it. He's not trying to make passing plays all the time. He knows.
Which I love.
Yeah, he puts that shot on the net. But about the Verhaeghe thing, I'd definitely rather save Bennett. I would like Verhaeghe to have a good playoff so that he's a little more appealing and we don't eat that fucking contract. But I would take Bennett over Verhaeghe any day. At the way they've. I mean, their entire tenure on the team, actually, but especially the way Bennett's been playing lately.
I certainly would take Bennett as well. I think he fits in a little bit more into the identity. If we were just doing a versus, yeah, absolutely Bennett. But Verhaeghe has been extremely valuable to us.
Mackey's the shooter.
Gabe also noting that Mackey was moved on to the power play 1 and Verhaeghe bounced. To your point, Dan, as well, like the willingness to shoot. Mackey is just not hesitant, and he sees a net and he's I like it. I want it.
He puts him on it.
Yeah.
That's what we would lose with Verhaeghe, which Mackey could kind of replace. Like, Bennett has the grittiness and the dirty kind of plays and stuff in front of the net that we need more than we need Carter, if he's going to be an apprehensive version of Carter Verhaeghe that only likes to shoot but can't seem to aim.
Loves to shoot,
hates to aim. Hates to aim. It's either way wide or right in the pads. He can't find the sweet spot.
Dude, it's like he
was on the third line on
You ever
Sunday.
see like a baseball player when they have the yips? They just, like, a catcher can't throw the ball back to a pitcher on the mound. It just goes over. Yeah. It feels like very basic passes. His confidence is just shattered right now. So I think there's very legitimate reason to be concerned.
Be a little alarmed, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, putting him, having Barkov and Ekblad back and putting him in a lineup, at least some shifts there, like to try to, break the spell and get some help trying to make goals. I think as soon as he does that, he'll be, maybe it'll awaken him. But I am concerned that the whole team is kind of falling victim to a laziness that will, it's not. If you do it every day and then one day you say, okay, today's different, it's going to be still an adjustment to turn it back on, just to say, oh, now we're in the playoffs. Okay, we've got 16 wins we have to produce here. We just lost 5. Sure, we're fine. It's just an attitude change. I don't know that that's necessarily true. And also, this whole thing, like, let's just get healthy. These guys haven't played games in a while. So the fact that, let's not say that they're going to be the saviors. Oh, when they come back, they'll be, turn it right back on like it's last year's playoffs. We like to go into all the last 2 runs where we've done well. We've come into them strong. We've come into them already playing really good hockey and winning games. So it's hard to be like, oh, this is fine. It's just we're doing it differently. We're losing before we start winning again.
I got a question for you, Dan.
Sure.
So with the moves that happened in, at the trade deadline, we bring in Marchand, we bring in Seth Jones. There was obvious. You bring in a guy like Seth Jones, and he comes from a franchise that has struggled very mightily over the past several years. Do you think Bill Zito might have toyed with the lineup a little too much. I know a lot of blame can be placed on injury here, and I think it's totally reasonable for somebody to say that. But is there a part of you that hopes that isn't so happy with the trades we made? I love our pieces personally, but so close to the playoffs beginning, I wonder if that's disrupted culture slightly.
Yeah, maybe.
Just a theory.
I think the trades we did last year were a lot better than this year, and they proved themselves even at the end of the regular season when they came in. Like Tarasenko came in and was ready to rock. It's different, we took Claude Giroux. I'm talking about when you take a 17-year or 11-year, 12-year veteran of a team like we did with Marchand. We did that with Giroux, and he was doing better than Marchand's been doing. Marchand is. It could be that he's not with the right guys right now. Like, he's the senior guy on this Checkers team yesterday, but he's got 1 point in 5 or 6 games. He looks he looks a little slow. Like, you see him do the things that a good player does, but then he gets stripped and things like that. Like,
puck's always like a little bit out of reach.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not as
ideally that
impressed.
improves.
Yeah. I mean, Seth Jones has been sturdy, but not exceptionally good.
Seth Jones does well when there's a guy that's like coming down the sidelines and he has to like confront him and take the puck from him.
Yeah.
He usually does well that way. But if somebody gets a little bit of space,
he's not chasing. Yeah,
he's not chasing. He's getting burned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's obviously with Ekblad coming back 2 games into the playoffs. Kulikov coming back from injury in good time.
Hopefully.
We got a comment from Gabe who says, "You can't convince me that Marchand is even 80%, has lasting concussion issues." I don't know any of that for a fact, but I will say, watching Marchand, he does appear to like just be warming up for playoffs. That's my interpretation of it. It doesn't seem like he's going 100%. I mean, maybe he is not 100%, but I don't think he's playing with the effort of 100%. I think he's just sort of like trying to learn the pacing of the team and the lines, and then just sort of like try to fall into place in time for the playoffs. But if we're putting out these AHLers, if we're calling up Puljujarvi and running out these lines, like, do we have enough time to have a bunch of guys like a new guy like Marchand working with the guys that we expect him to work with once the playoffs roll around?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's true. And the same issue goes, like, if we kick the can down the road of him giving 100%, is he going to know what it's like to do that? Is he going to know where his limit is? Like, also playing with the team of young guys, I feel like, okay, Marchand, turn it on today. Mm-hmm. Like, set a message, right? You have the opportunities. There aren't other great players, really, like yesterday's game, for example. I mean, who's the better player that we had out there than Brad Marchand, really, like as a player stat kind of thing? Brad Marchand's the guy. There's got to be a regular season game where we try to give it everything we have.
Right.
Where we, push that limit. If it's the second to last or something, where we really go for it. I'd love to see us do it tomorrow against Toronto.
Great example.
We've had so many divisional games, and we're content. We clinched or whatever. But we're going to, if we lose every game, we'll get to a point where we clinch the second wild card spot. Like, could you imagine that having been the reality? That we're like content with, all right, we'll go from first in the division at February, like mid-Feb, late Feb even, and we'll go all the way down to the lower wild card spot because of injury and rest.
The reason why, to your exact point, the reason why I'm not exactly buying what the Panthers are selling right now is because it totally doesn't fit into the culture that Paul Maurice has had in this team for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
He's constantly been like, we are going to play
every game is playoff hockey.
Every game is playoff hockey. And then suddenly we're tapping the brakes on that.
Yeah.
I don't really buy it.
Yeah.
And I know it's a good way to explain things away and to tell the locker room, like, hey, I know.
Look at the camera. Don't look at me.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you, I'm saying.
My bad. I know. I got Dan right over here, so I'm just like popping in over there. We got a comment here from a Kyle Campbell.
Wow.
A blast from the past. Welcome back, Kyle. Yeah, basically, Dan and I are co-founders of a live stream production company.
No selling.
No, I'm not. That's the end of the selling.
Oh, okay. We're friends.
LaunchLiveNow.com.
We're friends. We're all friends.
Yeah, no, but we are friends, and basically we have this live streaming infrastructure. So let's bring the Puck and Panthers back. We miss doing this show, so thank you so much for joining. And if you have any questions about the Panthers, if you're a little concerned about their playoff capability, I mean that's what we're on right now.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying about like Paul Maurice and like that culture of every game is playoff hockey, and then suddenly we just we're actually not really trying.
Yeah,
that's like when you like. When you like play basketball with your friend and he's like a little bit of a shithead and then you start winning and then he stops trying.
Yeah.
He's like, I was never trying.
I was never playing. Yeah, I let you win that one.
Yeah, you were trying.
We need to we need a Paul Maurice yelling them on the bench kind of moment, like our thumbnail in the thing. I don't understand why that's not happening. I was like, he better do it now. No, he didn't do it. Let's see the next game. He better do it now. Like I want that kind of public event so that the team knows that they're that this is not acceptable, even with the rest and the injuries.
I think Paul Maurice has very clearly said that this is acceptable. I think he's coming out and saying like, oh yeah, this wasn't exactly our game or this or that, but he's not exactly expressing profound disappointment. Kyle says, I'm not too worried about at the moment. I want to see what we do during the homestand first. That's legitimate. I just think throughout late March and April, there's just been so many games that have been dropped that are attainable. And we're just sort of worried about the Panthers' confidence heading into the playoffs. Anybody else has any comments, please drop them, whether you're on X, you're on YouTube, we're streaming over there. We're also on Twitch. Nobody ever watches us on Twitch.
Someone commented once
on Twitch. So we have that going for us. But if you're on X or YouTube and you want to drop a comment, please feel free. We're going to be going for about 2 more hours here. So
yeah, sure.
We got a few minutes here. But if you've got any other comments, feel free to drop them in there. Do you want to you want to highlight the join the discussion comment? Because I pulled up my...
You pulled it up too late, did you?
I did. I'm sorry, man.
Join the discussion. Join the conversation in the chat, and we will discuss your comments.
Look at that.
Can do it
bing,
right
bing,
here.
Bing, bing, bong, boom.
Bing, bang, boom.
Okay, so let's talk.
I got off to her like Mrs. Buttersworth. I got off to a can of Mrs. Butterworth. She had me there like the Express A train. Bing, bang, boom. Now I know what
the people of Pompeii felt.
Now I know what those sad villagers of Pompeii felt like.
Anyway, yeah. So we're going into
reference.
the playoffs. We are going to be facing likely Tampa or Toronto. So
we have to win a game to not play Toronto, as far as I see it. We haven't figured out a way. This has got to be our longest losing streak, like in 3 years. 5 games.
5 games. Yeah, that's pretty damn brutal. I don't remember it being that bad.
No.
But
I mean, there's OTLs in there. I guess there's one OTL. But who cares?
Would you rather be facing Toronto or Tampa?
Toronto. Personally, shut it down. Shut down the Stars. I think we can do that better. The Tampa Bay is always they're.
Bless you.
This year I feel like they're giving us more of a challenge. They're quite a bit more physical and tough. I think. Last couple of years they weren't as much, and we had kind of easier run throughs with them. But, I think Toronto. I think there's some pressure that will sit them all. That market pressure. I think Tampa doesn't really care, and they think they know that they're, at the end of the window and stuff. So maybe they'll have a little more get up and go. But I'm kind of indifferent, actually.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I know this is a podcast, but you don't have to have a hot opinion on one of those teams.
Yeah, that's why we have Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I think our biggest challenge will be if we get there, the Washington Capitals. I secretly think they'll win the Stanley Cup.
They fucking dog walked us.
They dog walked us. They're
2 games or 3 games.
Dog walking the division right now. 2 of 3, I think, and I think the other week out was maybe OT. But hell, we lost to the Montreal Canadiens 5-0 in the series. So hate it.
Yep. Kyle says the 5-game losing streak. Yeah, to your point, longest since Zito took over. I read somewhere.
Longest since Zito took over.
That's our favorite source, by the way. I read somewhere like that's we are basically none of what we talk about is fact. So you, Kyle, you might as well be a fucking co-host
He gets
at
it.
this point.
He gets it.
He gets it. Like I heard that somewhere. That's definitely true. Panthers are the only team to make Stolars look human this year.
He is having a great year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking stellar, and
he's
he
looking
totally
good.
over Joseph Wool won that starting job over in Toronto.
Love it.
I gotta say personally, like I would rather take on Tampa than I would Toronto.
Same.
And
Or I said the opposite.
you did say the opposite, but same, but
I misheard
complete
it.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've said it before on the pod. I think when you got Marner, Nylander, Matthews, Tavares, I guess, on a team, no more like the top three guys, that is so much to try to handle. And no matter what, they are just gonna come at you so aggressively. I think they learned a lot of lessons playing us in the past, playing us 2 years ago. I think they're foaming at the fucking mouth to play the Panthers and to beat us. So you have the emotional aspect, you have the educational aspect where they've learned a lot, and then and then you just got the skill.
And then you've got the Toronto Leafs media market to destroy any confidence.
That's what we
that
need.
they ever
We need
had.
more Toronto media.
We just need to win one game,
Yeah.
and then we'll win the rest of them.
Exactly.
Because as soon as there can be any negativity, they'll throw it. But they they're trouble. Like they don't always exactly right. Exactly.
But I'm saying there, Gabe, I get your point. Lots of
Chokey
playoff
choke.
success with that core four. I think there's a lot of lessons that have been learned. I really do. And I'm not like a fucking Toronto apologist here. But I'm like, I genuinely believe that like they are getting to a point where they have to know what it takes, and I want them to be massively unsuccessful for the last 10 more years. I want them to not even get close to sniffing a cup. But I think there's a reality that people have to contend with that narrative. Maybe they're them getting absolutely sick and tired of it, and they're gonna be driven, no doubt about that.
Like Biz says, Battle of Ontario and Sunshine State Showdown. Like as the first round, that'd be cool. Vasilevsky is scary. You just have to make sure that you find him in his 6-month slump and not his 6-month absolute Vezina performance.
Right. He used to take his slumps in the off season.
Yeah.
And then during the entire year, would
slump
be
on the
fucking
couch.
Unreal. Yeah.
No, there's a lot of wild cards there. Like they seem like they've fallen out of form, but I mean they're all really good players on that team.
Mm-hmm. No, they're unreal.
Kucherov is scary, dude.
You still got fucking Braden Point.
Kucherov is a little Braden Point. Kucherov. Yeah, he's like a little Ovechkin at the hash marks, just planting his feet and waiting for the fucking one timer, and he's gonna put it in.
I love that.
A couple years ago, they had a power play that we couldn't stop. Every fucking time they had it, they scored. Like they're a wild card. I think I mean, yes, Toronto has tasted a series win and just won, but we'll see. I also think they're maybe a little stubborn. Like I don't know that the $12 million men want to play gritty. They want to be the stars, and they want to come out and deke and trick Bob and throw a backhander or something. But if we're stymieing them with our hard nosed defense, then maybe they'll get a little frustrated. They put on a great performance to get to this point. I mean, they were way down 3 months ago, and now they're. And I was like, they're going to catch up. They were going to catch up. Even before we slumped, they were just not losing any. So good on them. It's a good time to have that kind of performance. But
Tampa, I mean, it's God, it felt good putting them away last year.
Oh, finally,
that was
to get the opportunity. It was bittersweet that Toronto had done it the year prior because we all wanted to prove that we're back or we're here for the first time and displace them in Florida. So it was nice to and Bobrovsky. Dude, with the save of a lifetime in that series.
That was unreal. Dude, how was the Canuck when we freaking beat Toronto? We go to this bar called the Canuck on the west side of Manhattan, called the Canuck. That's where Gretzky was apparently yesterday.
Dude, I was gonna go. That's so fucked.
I know, that sucks.
That is so fucked.
Yeah, you should have gone.
I should have gone.
Me stating the absolute obvious.
Never forgive myself.
Yeah, but the Toronto fans, they were fucking assholes when we were going there. What are you doing here? Oh yeah.
Us in an all Canadian bar
Yeah, literally losing our freaking mind.
watching an OT win. Playoff hockey's so fucking fun.
Yeah.
That one goal can decide an entire championship.
Literally.
It's crazy.
Like the and right before that obviously was the Boston series. What was funny is that like that final goal where actually no, the Montour goal,
yes.
the rain took out the feed and then somebody got it on their phone and we were all hovered around this one guy's phone. There's a Boston guy who just started like slouching in the corner and Dan's like, "Oh my god. Oh my god." And I'm like, "Shut up. Hold on." And then we're watching and then the fucking Montour stuffs it in short side. We lost our fucking minds. Game 7, man.
And then
after that
luckily
whole comeback.
the GWG, the game came back for overtime on the main feed. Yeah. But no, I remember looking at that guy, a Boston fan who just fucking put his hands in his head, who had his own phone stream over there, and I was like, "What do you know?
No way.
What just happened?
Unreal." We got another comment here from Kyle Campbell. Only player I'm legit worried about on our team is Verhaeghe. I think he's playing hurt. You know, I would tend to agree with you, but wouldn't you think that he would have that day off or have a couple games off from Maurice if he actually was playing hurt? I hope he's playing hurt. I'll tell you that. Like he's not looking great. No. And he's got the yips as we were saying. But I feel like if he was actually hurt, he would have gotten some time off. Yeah.
Or I would have loved if he's just playing poorly, Paul Maurice to send a message like he did with Anthony Duclair at one point. Which is when they on the stream, the TNT stream yesterday, they showed lower body, upper body, rest, and then Verhaeghe, healthy scratch. I would have loved to see that so that everybody knows his performance is dictating him sitting down. I mean, certainly sending a message with putting him on the third line when we have a bunch of fucking checkers staffing the third and fourth line. He could easily have been on the first line given the absences, but you know, that's commensurate with his performance. I don't think he's playing better than a third liner.
Well, like I was saying before with his shooting percentage, it's not like he's not shooting on net. You know, he's generating a lot of opportunities, but he's missing passes. He's mishandling pucks, and he's not shooting to score. Obviously, like he's snake bitten, so that 7% shooting percentage is indicative of like him like just having bad luck. But I mean, everyone's seeing what we're seeing, which is just like he's lacking a finishing touch, and he's not really, I don't know, shooting hard. Shoot harder.
Shoot harder. Shoot harder. Aim.
I don't know shit, but shoot harder.
Aim.
Yeah.
And he kind of was that way before the slump. I mean, we've been slumping for a month, but before this 5-game loss streak, when we were going like 2-1, you know, or 1-2, he hasn't been great like all season. He hasn't been Carter Verhaeghe that
we've been waiting.
Delivers the overtime win or delivers the late goal in the third, like, you know. And he looks tired. He looks like he's trying a lot of old tricks that they're catching on to. Like he gets in front, he gets over to the hash marks and curls around like his game-winning goal against Boston in the series 2 years ago, and they don't go anymore. And he's not adapting. He's not really changing anything. I thought that the whole team in general kind of insisted upon the Barkov down to Kachuk up to Reinhart in the slot pass far longer than that play still worked. Yeah. We would get 1 out of every 5 or something after we were getting half of them. And not anymore. So like and they were like insisting on giving it a shot again, but guys around the league are like get all over Reinhart in the slot.
Right.
And then they're like, and the Panthers are like, all right, let's pull out the old bread and butter and see if it works this time. And Carter Verhaeghe is certainly guilty of that.
We got a comment here. Silver lining of the call-ups. Megna looks good defensively on the blue line. Let me just say,
Smegma.
I love Megna. I really think he looks solid, and we've been looking for that like 6th, 7th defenseman that we need on this team that can be that guy. And I'm glad all of the injuries we've had, we've been able to see a lot of different guys. Megna, I think, is like the champion of the who's gonna be our last guy.
Yeah.
You got Balinskis. I've talked about it before. I don't think he's putting in the entire compete level that we are accustomed to on our team. I think he's fast. I just don't think he's competing very hard and digging for pucks as much.
Sure.
Who else we got? There's some other defensemen.
Puljujärvi, Bjornfoot. We don't need to talk about him. Goodbye.
Bjornfoot just struggled so much. He just gave up the puck.
Yeah.
In pretty much every opportunity.
Toby.
Forgetting another one.
What's the guy that Chris is always bullish on? He didn't play in this latest stand, but
Sort of was a forward.
yeah, sort of is what I was thinking of. Another D-man that we called up, I forget.
I don't know, but out of all of them, just love Magna. I've been watching him very, very closely, and you probably have too, Gabe. And it's just like so smart, contains, and we don't have to really like worry about people breaking outside of it.
Yeah.
We got another comment from Kyle Campbell here. He says, reason I think he's hurt.
Oops.
Yeah, all good. Maybe we can make this a little bit bigger.
Let's try. Read it for us, will you?
There you go. Reason I think he's hurt, and we're talking about Verhaeghe here, is if you look at the shooting metrics, his shot velocity is a lot lower than normal. And that combined with the eye test suggests injury. My guess is Bennett and Rhino needed rest more, and he'll sit at some point this week. Yep, like we were saying, shoot harder. Yeah, Carter, shoot harder. We need to make shirts.
Maybe it's...
Yeah, I didn't realize like his shot velocity is lower, and that you could actually like look at those metrics. But that's really fascinating. Yeah, out of like Schmidt and Cooley, appreciate it, Gabe. I'm more comfortable right now with Cooley. I think Schmidt has kind of worried me at times. Schmidt shouldn't be on the power play. I know we're a little bit hamstrung right now, but he's not a power play. He's not a quarterback on a power play. So we gotta figure out something. I honestly would prefer 5 forwards to him out there.
How about Erod? What are we thinking about Erod lately?
Love Erod. Yeah. Love Erod. I think he's playing pretty well, and I think he's gonna turn it up.
Oh, Kierstead says.
Oh yeah.
Says Kyle.
Yeah, Kierstead. I honestly didn't. I know he just popped in, but I didn't get a good look at him. But out of everyone, Magna, my boy. I love him, and he's big, homegrown, plantation kid.
That's nice.
Probably went anything he'd move somewhere else, so didn't really grow up in South Florida.
He left the plantation.
Yeah, he left the plantation, but yeah, Magna. I've been extremely satisfied with him. Oh man, Dan, anything else that you want to touch on before we go? I mean, I'm happy with a lot of topics we hit. We hit Magna. We hit Verhaeghe.
We hit Verhaeghe. We hit General Woes.
Who would you rather play? Would you rather play Toronto or
yeah? We
Lightning?
hit it all. I'd love to see us looking ahead. I'd love to see us really put in our best effort in the last 2-3 weeks against Toronto, because we're not taking that spot from them, but we might play them. So like, size it up, play them tough. Even if you're not, even the third liners who are going to be playing against their first line, which they know they're not going to do in the playoffs. Play as if you're actually trying to stop Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
Even though you probably won't have to do that, you won't be paired up against him. Try to actually do that. Give it everything you got, and
everything you got,
and see what happens.
Well, like that is the one. We should do the room shot here when you get a second.
Oh yeah,
that's a sick one. What I think is really the issue is we have been playing teams that are like playoff bubble teams that should be going 110 miles per hour, and they cannot let off the gas or they are fucked.
Yeah.
And we've been that team for so many years.
Yeah.
Like we've always been the team that like barely can make it, and we need to like rush at the last minute, and we play the best hockey of the year this time of year. So this is a little bit out of character for us as a terrible franchise. But yeah, it's just, it's not a great feeling heading into the playoffs. I agree with you. Tomorrow against Toronto, that's got to be a game that you
lay it out there.
Fucking try again.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with the morning skate tomorrow, and see what happens with the Panthers from Launch Live Now Studios in Brooklyn. I'm Taylor Craig. Dan, you have any final words before we get out of here?
No, just that this is the Fucking Panthers podcast. where we don't give a puck. Go Cats.